You're listening to the Big Chuck Podcast, brought to you by Venue Media.
Okay, man. Welcome to another episode of the Big Chuck Podcast, man. We got one missing. He's on my left. You know, he had to run off. I don't know if he got nervous that, you know what I'm saying, but he'll be back in a second. So if you see somebody walk onto the stage, he's supposed to be here. So let me turn this down because I got the echo. You know, I wasn't paying attention to myself, so I got the echo in the background. But today I got the fellas on here, man. You know what I'm saying? We not talking relationships. We talking about what's next. The theme is what's next. So that goes with everything. I'm talking about political, relationship, community. What's next? You know what I'm saying? Stuff that's going on nowadays. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're starting to unite. You know what I'm saying? We'll never get everybody on the same page, but we're starting to unite. Like, what's next? Are we going to continue to do this, or are we not? So that's the theme of the night. So I'm gonna have my guests introduce themselves, and I'm gonna go from my right to my left. So Fred, can you tell the people about yourself?
Yep, Fred Chavis. I'm a teacher out here, activist. I'm an author as well. I'm glad to be on Big Chuck Podcast, man.
He got 4 books, man. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to put it on my page, the links and everything. So go, you know what I'm saying, support this black folks, man. Support that. Go ahead.
Tony Box Bakes, just somebody who knows a little bit about something. That's it.
Yeah, man, the boy can bake, man. So I'm sure he's not single. I don't want to put his business out there. But the boy can bake, though. You know what I'm saying? And then last but not least,
we got the 301's favorite son, the 202's most true, the Prince of Prince George's himself, a J with 2 I's between an M and a Y, Anthony, the Arthur Revolutionist, and the next step.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And being that we going on you, I got your book. Look, let me put it up. This, you should have told them about your book, but it's Unchained. You know what I'm saying? You need to. Where can they get your book from?
You can get my book exclusively on Amazon, or you can also download it from Amazon eBooks Kindle store.
All right, and then to all my book readers out there and all my folks that you know how we do, I'm going to try to do a book reading. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to bring Fred back with his book. I'm going to bring his Jimmy's book with me, and then I'm going to have people in the studio. We're going to read the book, and we're going to break it down. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all say it ain't nothing to do around here. It's an interesting read, both of them. Definitely an interesting read. It's definitely going to get your mind. It's not no cat in the hat shit. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is some shit that's going to get us talking about what we talking about. And being that I'm gone, I told him when I read his book, I was going to take something from his book. So, sit down, people. I need y'all to sit down because I know Washington County, Maryland, and then I know my folks love the Lord. Love the Lord. So let me read something from his book. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to read, the name of his book is Unchained, The History of Mental Slavery in America, How to Overcome. All right. Now, the insert says how to overcome the black preacher. People will use your faith as weapons against you. It is important not to cross the line between being a follower and being zealot. Yeah. All right. Now, he says one thing is you have to follow your values. Values is a value system based off common sense will help prevent you from being hustled. True godly values come from within and should not be determined by other people for you. Common sense will tell you right from wrong as long as you keep things simple and do not become a sheep. Okay. Second one. Yeah. Just wrap y'all, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, wrap y'all stuff around here. Second one. Separate religion and spirituality. Understand that spirituality is relationship with God, and your relationship with people who share your faith in God is religion. Keep your relationship with God separate from your personal politics, and you won't be easily manipulated. We just went through some political shit, so that's 2. 3, make God the certain of your life, not the church. Let me say that again. Make God the certain of your life, not the church. Remember, the church is people, not a building. Let the word of God be the certain of your life, not other people. Remember, there is difference between being a true child of God and saying you are. Don't prejudge because of bad experiences, because then you can become what you hate. Jimmy, you want to elaborate on that? Because like I said, I mean, we was talking about the common sense, man. Like common sense nowadays, man, it ain't that fucking common.
Not at all.
Like everybody goes straight to social media with everything. Like it's murder. It's people getting caught on camera murdering because they broadcast live while they was murdering somebody,
Right.
and actually go to court and fight it.
Right.
So what's common sense? I need to know what's common sense to you. Go ahead, Tony. Say something.
I like that question. No, that's good. That's it.
All right, so we have to understand this, which is, first of all, there is a difference between being quote unquote Christian, somebody who calls themselves a Christian, because anybody can go to church, anybody can give money. That doesn't make you a true child or God, because anybody can say it, but we all know that's a lie. You may be a Sunday saint, but you may also be a Saturday sinner. So common sense is saying that if something doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. Okay. So which means that what you believe in can be used as a way to control you, because your beliefs is what control you, and people are aware of that and they will use it to manipulate you. Okay. So you must always have that cognitive dissonance, because you must always question your beliefs, because there's an old saying that true faith is paved off of doubt. So you must always have healthy doubt in order to make sure that what you believe in is genuine and that what you're being sold is not complete bullshit. Okay. Yeah. So an example of what I mean is, let's say that you are... Matter of fact, I'll give my own personal example of what happened to me that made me question this. When I first moved here, I'm not going to say the name of the church, but we started going to multiple different churches when we moved away from Hyattsville, Maryland. Okay. And it was so weird because we didn't find any that fit us. You know, we went to an Episcopalian, then we went to a Catholic, then finally we went to a church here, and it was a church that my family still goes to this day. And the reverend who we were going to church with at the time, it turns out he was embezzling money from the church. Yes. Wow. So when he embezzled money, I was like, Mom, Grandma, did you hear? We found out why we haven't seen the Reverend for the last few weeks. It turns out he was embezzling money.
You turned that down? Go ahead.
It turns out he was embezzling money from the church. And I'm like, aren't you outraged by this? And it's like, well, there must be a good reason for that. I'm like, you're actually trying to defend it. And then weeks later, it's like, well, there was something wrong with his wife. It's like, that's not true. I spoke to other people. She lied about that. There was nothing wrong with her. They went on vacations and spent the money and stuff. So there was an initial shock that made me feel like, oh my goodness gracious, you guys are so blinded by your blind loyalty to this man that you are willing to become a fool. Because even in the Bible, it says, beware of false prophets, for they are wolves in sheep's clothing that will lead you astray. So it's like, so you're just in plain denial. It's one thing to be skeptical, but it's something completely in denial, and that is sad.
So that's the values. You got anything on that, Tony? Because I mean, values like common sense. I see.
I'm still trying to figure out what establishes common sense.
Exactly.
Like,
that's where I'm lost at.
Right. Like what? How do you get common sense? You're not just born with common sense.
Well, first of all, you have to realize when it comes to common sense, as far as religion is concerned, you will never find God outward. Only angry people look outward for God, because true God is inward. So you go to a priest or a reverend and you look for the guidance so you can find it inward. If they're telling you to look towards me, you should be very, very suspicious. So an example of common sense is, ask somebody a simplistic question, and if they give you a hostile answer, you should be pretty suspicious of them. So for example, if somebody are asked, Reverend, what are we doing with all this money that we are collecting from people every Sunday? And if you can't get a simple answer, if you get a holistic answer, you should be pretty suspicious of that person. Or if you ask the Reverend, I have certain doubts about something you said in the scripture, because it's contradicting to what you said last week. Because you're saying that we should hate evil, but yet my best friend is somebody who does this. But should I hate them? Because in the Bible it says that we should love all, including our enemies. So are you saying that it's okay to only love my enemy when it's beneficial? And if your reverend says, don't question me, then you should be pretty suspicious. Because unfortunately, we do live in a time where what they're teaching in the church is not true Christianity. It's just politicized as a way to control people.
Well, okay. Yeah, sorry about that, man. We going live the way we going live, man. I'm gonna have to be manually doing it, technical difficulties, you know what I'm saying, about everything. So I'm be looking ghetto, holding it, showing everybody. But that's Fred right there. You understand what I'm saying? That's my man Tony right there, and that's Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? We're going to recap what was going on. Fred is an author and a teacher. You know what I'm saying? He has a book, 4 books that's out. You know what I'm saying? Check my page later. I'm going to send you the links to his. Tony, he you know what I'm saying? He bakes and cooks and does everything he do, and he talks shit. I've been talking shit to him for the longest. And then Jimmy has a book, you know what I'm saying? And then we read from his book. I don't know if y'all saw that, earlier. If, y'all want me to read it again? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Read it again so they know where we coming from?
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to read again. Sorry about that you can't see everybody, but like I said, I might as well plug this in now, you know what I'm saying? https://linktree, SMU, if you want to go on and then go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. I'll have it up tomorrow. We should have the file done and sent to me about 10, 11 o'clock tonight, so I'll have it on YouTube. So sorry about that. Just send y'all friends to the YouTube page, and they can watch it the way we see it on the screen up there. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was the script of the theme of the show is what's next, and what's next is in every aspect of what's going on in your life and my life. You know what I'm saying? What's next? Okay, we got Biden in, we got Kamala in. What's next? You know what I'm saying? Okay, we still got problems. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going down in Louisiana, what just happened in DC. It's still cops killing blacks. You know what I'm saying? It's still Latinos and blacks warring in the streets over gangs, over territories that they don't own. We still going through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So the theme is what's next. And one of the authors has a book. I'm gonna read. The name of the book is Unchained: The History of Mental Slavery in America and How to Overcome. And one of the inserts from his book is How to Overcome the Black Preacher. I'm just gonna go straight into the. I'm gonna read the first page, and then I'm gonna read like his 3 points. You know what I'm saying? So I'll go from the top. It says, people use your faith as weapons against you. It says, how to overcome the black preacher. People will use your faith as weapons against you. It is important not to cross the line between being a follower and being a zealot. If y'all know what that word is, look it up. Google zealot, Z-E-A-L-O-T. You know what I'm saying? And then one of his points is you have to use your values. And value is a value system based on common sense will help prevent you from being hustled. Truly godly values come from within and should not be determined by other people for you. Common sense will tell you right from wrong as long as you keep things simple and do not become a sheep. Y'all heard that? All right. 2, separate religion and spirituality. Understand that spirituality is your relationship with God, and your relationship with people who share your faith in God is religion. So it's a difference. Keep your relationship with God separate from your personal politics, and you won't be easily manipulated. All right. 3, make God the certain of your life, not the church. And like I said before, we're going to repeat that twice. Make God the certain of your life, not the church. Remember, the church is people, not a building. Let the word of God be the certain of your life, not other people. Remember, there is difference between being a true child of God and saying you are. Don't prejudge people because of bad experiences, because then you can become what you hate. And we were at that. And I brought up the common sense. My thing with I like everything he's saying, but common sense. And we was having a debate about common sense because like I said, common sense nowadays isn't common sense. Like me coming up, we didn't have social media and all that. Like, it's like people want to prove that they're criminals. So why do you need a detective? Like if you're filming your crime, you don't need a detective. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's not common sense. So we'll go from there. And Tony, say how you felt about it, and then I'm gonna let Fred come in, and then you can answer. All right. Okay.
I asked him where the value of common sense comes from. How do you establish common sense from birth, or in religion aspects, or in any aspect that you're speaking of? How do you just get or obtain common sense?
Yeah, let him respond.
Go ahead.
All right. So first of all, like I said before, you must always question your beliefs. You always ask who, what, when, where, and why. Because as you was said, what I don't want people to do is agree with me simply because I'm saying it. I want people who do agree with me to agree with me because they believe it. So if you don't agree with me, that is perfectly fine because that is the point. But the reason why I believe what I'm saying is right and why a lot of people who agree with me think I am right is because of the fact that we look inward to find all these answers instead of outward. As I said before on the Hub show, we left the church and went back to God because of spiritual doubt that's happening with this generation. More and more people nowadays are not going to church to try to find God. They're going with inwards as well as in their community because the chains is being unbroken. Now, I still have friends who are deep religious and who still go to the church, but at the same time, they understand it because, like I said before, doubt is the pavement of faith. So without spiritual doubt, you can suffer a spiritual crisis if your faith is ever challenged or if there's ever evidence that proves this challenge. Because there's a big difference between skepticism and just pure denial. As I said before, what happened when we found out that the preacher, when we first moved here, was embezzling money, I suffered a crisis of faith because I was never allowed to question it before. So it took 9 years for me to reestablish my relationship with God. And when that finally happened, I was able to look inward to find God instead of outward. Because only angry people look outward because it's a form of insecurity. Because if you truly love God, you must look within to find Him.
Dropping stuff. Go ahead. You good. You can keep talking. I'm dropping stuff. You know how I am. Did you want to chime in on this, Fred?
Yeah.
About.
So I like what he's saying about, you got to start looking inward, like that spiritual aspect of, churches and everything like that. For those who don't know, my dad and my mother both are pastors. So I've been growing up in this for a long time. My mom was reading scriptures to me when I was in her belly. And one of the things I know is that when it comes to church, I'm not going to say that people are misguided, but it's not exactly a common sense on when you step into a church to know that, all right, this is the church for me, and what this preacher, this leader that I'm looking to, I know that they got it or I know that they don't, when you don't have any previous experience before.
Right.
Exactly.
And so what I have always been taught is to pray for a church, pray for a spiritual leader. And again, that goes back into that looking inward, okay? But if we all could find a spiritual leader or find a church based on just common sense alone, there would be no need for us to look to God for insight.
Exactly.
Right.
God says, order my steps in your word, and let not any iniquity have dominion over me. Order me, lead me to the right church.
Okay.
Because you do have false prophets, as you said before.
Right.
You said that, you made that very clear. And false prophets, they can deceive because they know scriptures. Satan also knew the scriptures. And so when it came to the Bible, God literally had to shut up Satan because Satan was getting ready to reveal him in the Bible. And so he had to stop him because he knows scripture. The devil knows scripture. So when you come into a church, you may not know it sometimes, and you do have to pray because you can be very deceived. The cloak can be put over your eyes, and you have no idea. And so when it came to like that embezzlement and these people paying these tithes and offering to this church, they felt like that's what they're supposed to be doing because they're trying to find this spiritual, I guess, they're trying to make
Awakening.
it. Awakening, right? That's a good way to put it. They think they're doing what's right. They don't see it just yet. God has to reveal that to them. You can say whatever you want about somebody, but until I see it spiritually, and that goes with discernment. Not everybody has that. Not everybody's able to discern what's good for them and what's bad for them. But again, it is that inward thing. It is that spiritual aspect. You do have to look inward. You do have to pray for that church. You do have to separate religion from spirituality. It can't be just in that building. People always question a lot of people for not going to church, but they don't realize that where two or three are gathered, so is God. They can be at their house having that same thing
Experience,
and getting a word from God.
Exactly.
And even with when it comes to church, a lot of people have churches in their house.
Exactly.
When I was growing up, my parents also had a church in their house, and you had a lot of people with these big churches that condemned them for it. But also it said, God bless the church that's in your house, and like I said, it doesn't matter about where you have service at, it's definitely in spirit. And so you said that in there.
Right.
But like I said, the only part that really got me was, and I know where you're going with it. I see where you're going with it, but when it comes to spirituality and when it comes to godly matters, there's nothing common sense about
That's
it.
what I was saying.
You have
That's
to
what
have
I
that
was saying.
spiritual
That's what I was
insight.
trying- That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. Oh, and can I just respond to that?
go ahead,
And
go ahead,
also,
go ahead.
it says in the Bible, God Himself says, "You will not find me in any man-made structures." So that's why I said with common sense, because God said not to be foolish. Because blind faith is unfortunately also a form of mental slavery, which is something that we have to avoid being victims of.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, like I said, with that's why I told you I wanted to bring that point up when I read that, because that was like everybody was feeling that part. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know, because you know us black folks, we don't play around with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? We believe in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing we don't play around with. And you know, it is what it is. Like I said, you know, some people find the Lord when they in jail. They've been in there 20 years. And then, like I said, the reason because you was like the black preacher. Me being a comedian, it automatically went to that dude that come home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember you back in 85. You was a thug. Now you talking about the Lord said, if you do this, He gonna give and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's where my mind went. But you know, we'll get off the Lord thing because I know we'll never get off that. We'll have a show just on religions. You know what I'm saying? Soon.
It's a good topic though.
Yeah, it's always a good topic.
If it's somebody that's never opened up a Bible,
Exactly.
they're not going to have that insight.
Exactly.
They're not going to be able to know that scripture about where to find God and everything. They're just going to that building. It's not just an anger, but they're seeking Him for that redemption,
Right,
for
they're
that
reaching out,
salvation.
right.
They're
Exactly.
reaching out.
Exactly.
And that you can't condemn somebody for.
Reaching out.
But that's
Right.
but that's what I'm saying. That's what I do this show for, because this show is needed to be talked. Because some people, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm older. I come from, we don't talk about it, we do it. That's what I come from. So and back then the church was taboo. So the only way I would talk about the church is to people in my immediate circle. Outside of my immediate circle, I'm not gonna have that conversation with you. Just like with politics. If you're not in my immediate circle from
Right.
where I come from, I'm not gonna have that conversation with you, because you might say something and then automatically I revert back to when I was Golden Glove. Ding ding, I'm swinging. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I done heard the bell. So
Right.
that's just me. You know
You
what I'm
got to
saying?
be comfortable with the people you have the conversation with.
Exactly.
You
But
definitely do.
nowadays, you know what I'm saying, they're teaching, you know what I'm saying, that the youngins and everything, they need to articulate and tell, you know what I'm saying, tell people and get it out. And I me being me, I gotta adjust to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not, it's certain things that I'm gonna go to the grave with. You know what I'm saying? Me and my
Right.
girl was talking about it the other day. Like, so I shouldn't know everything about you. You'll never know everything about me. There's
No.
some things I'm gonna go to the grave with. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was cut from that cloth. But not good or bad. But being that, you know what I'm saying, with that being said, we talking about what's next. So we gonna get off the church and talk about, you know what I'm saying, leaders. You know what I'm saying? What's going on in the world nowadays? Do y'all think we have black leaders in the community? Do y'all think we have Latino leaders in the community? Do you think the church, the preachers are the leaders of the community? Like, who can we go to as normal folk to articulate how I feel? Like, I feel in Hagerstown, this needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? We need to have more, instead of using the word minorities, because minorities can be a white woman that got
Right.
got billions of dollars.
Right.
We need to break that down so it actually could be black-owned businesses, because minority is anything that's not a white man, basically.
Pretty much.
That's basically what it is. So that white man's wife can go get the loans that was set out for us because she's a minority.
Right. The system can even a little bit.
Yeah. So like, who do we go to? Who's the black leaders that we go to and talk to about, yo, we need to figure out how the fuck we can break that down.
I still think that needs to be established. Like,
Okay. But who do we go to? Like, do we have black leaders? Like, can y'all articulate to me who you think that would be open for us to get together and come up with a list and then call them right on the phone? Like, listen, look, Maryland, you know, Senator so-and-so, this is what we came from Washington County as a group. The so-and-so group came up with this. What can we do?
Well, here's the question. Do we actually need a leaders, or why can't we be our own leaders? Because you have to be sometimes the change that you want to see. And part of the problem of our people is that we keep acting like some kind of overnight miracle is going to solve these problems just like that, which is not going to be true. So sometimes you have to be the answer to your own solution.
Yeah,
to your own problem.
Yeah, where you coming from, I understand exactly where you coming from. But me talking is different than somebody in the Senate talking. Is what I'm saying. Us talking as a group, we get together. What I'm saying is we get together, like, change comes from, it starts when a conversation, like we sat down and talk coffee and was like, from now on out, we gonna start making sure the young brothers in Washington County gonna be accounted for. then we start moving forward. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's where it starts from. You know what I'm saying? It starts from a conversation. Now, me knowing politics, my word don't mean shit. Your word don't mean shit.
Right.
His word don't mean shit.
Right.
His word don't. But a group of us go to a senator, and then, like I say, we 1,500 strong.
That's
And when you run for Senate again in 2 years, we got you.
That's expanding on the idea that Diddy has, our Black Party.
Okay.
I like that idea. That's along those lines. We can make our voice mean more if we have any kind of solidarity between us. We don't have to all see eye to eye, but
Don't.
if we have some kind of form of solidarity, we do sway votes, and we can take power and make things happen for us if we take over certain areas. Like,
It was just proven.
right, exactly.
We just proved
again,
it.
right. In this election, we are the swinging votes. We made the swing happen. So
Exactly.
again, if we solidified and said we're not voting or we're sitting out until we get this, this, and this, we have power.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
take political power in that movement, and that's again something that Diddy came up with. I can't take no credit for that. I love it.
But the problem with that is that they're hearing our voices but ignoring our demands. Because the problem is that we don't need more black politicians. What we need is black power. The problem with American politics is that unless your voice is backed out by money, it's not going to mean a damn thing for these politicians. Joe Biden, he is going to
Already
probably
know you gonna
ignore.
chime in.
Yeah, Joe Biden, he's probably going to ignore us for the next 4 years because it wasn't black money that put him in the White House. Which is why most of our demands is not going to be met. You want to control politics, you control the money. So a black political party is not going to solve our problems because first of all, black people are not united enough on our local level to where it would be effective. That's number one. And number two is because what Diddy should have done is said, what we're going to do is create a black super PAC and it's going to be nonpartisan because what we have to stop doing is being loyal to the Democratic Party and say, listen, we don't give a damn if you're a Democrat or a Republican. These are our demands. We're going to both sides, and we are going to make sure you hear what our demands is, and we're not effing around.
Okay. Well, I know you waiting patiently, Fred. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of going back to your initial question, yes, we absolutely have leaders in our community. We have leaders in every single aspect. The problem is that we need our leaders to be able to sit at a table and break bread together.
That's
and
it.
bring things together.
Right.
And as
Support.
far as like even like the money goes and everything, like I definitely hear what he's saying about, controlling the money and all this stuff. Black votes definitely put Biden in office. That is
Definitely.
that's for sure. That is a
Pennsylvania
definite.
was
You
red
can't
until
you cannot
you
deny
argue
that.
that,
right. You
It has
can't argue
nothing to
that.
do with party because many
Right.
of us black folk, we felt ashamed to have to vote for Biden.
Right.
Exactly.
But we knew that that's what we had to do to get Trump
Right.
out. So,
Right.
like, I don't align with any party. And a lot of
Exactly.
black people do not align with
Exactly.
any
I'm
party.
registered
You align
independent.
with what's right or wrong, morals, who's going to do better for the black community.
Right.
Now, neither party has done anything for the black
Exactly.
community.
And that's why we need to solidify.
But when it comes to our black
and
communities, when it comes to our specific black communities, like right now in Hagerstown, we got too many circles, we got too much drama, we got too much strife, and people holding on to all this old stuff about I don't like Steve and Steve don't like Hillary and like all these dumb things. And these stupid things are blocking people from bringing about change. You're seeing too many subliminal shots on Facebook. We're having like 22, 24, up to 102 different groups saying the same thing.
Exactly.
So yes, demand's not going to be met when you have all these different parties meeting
Right.
with the same person
Right.
saying the same exact thing.
Exactly.
And so our black leaders do need to come together. They need to break bread at the same table,
Exactly.
whether they agree or like each other
Right. We
or not.
all
They need
different
to
sides
they
of
need
the
to come
aisles.
together
Exactly.
and break bread, and that's how you start building that solidarity. Because that's what we need in the black community
It's
is black
solidarity.
unity.
Right.
I don't care about allies and all
Right.
these different
Right. We
things.
can
Right
disagree
now,
on a lot of
right now, I'm
different
all
ways
about
of
my black
getting
people.
money.
I'm all about my black people.
Right.
And I
Right.
think the big thing that comes with that too is you got to be all in or all out. You
Exactly.
can't do half measures. And what we're seeing is you have some people that's more halfway. I'm
Exactly.
willing to negotiate. I'm willing to go for reform and everything. And you got other people that are revolutionary, ready to bring the whole system down and start over.
Sometimes that's what needed. That's what's
And
needed.
for me, that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen because you're talking about reform. Like you got systems like A Can't Wait and all these different things. You got police departments signing off on it, saying they're doing this, but yet you're still seeing black bodies lying in the streets.
Right. Who's oversighting
So,
them? Who's watching them?
Policy alone does not change racism. Okay, it does not change racism. But we have to focus on our black community. We have power with the black dollar. to put only in our community.
Right.
That's when white folk and that's when politicians start to take notice, is when the money is not coming their way.
Right. And our dollar has no value in our community. It stays in our community the least amount of time. It's like 8 to 9 hours the black dollar stays in the black community.
We don't get, they talk about defunding the police and they get upset by that, but yet that's
the
all
truth.
they are doing to the black community is defunding from us. They have always been taking resources from us, constantly.
And then alienators saying that we're the main ones receiving those resources when we're not. we're not the main ones on welfare or the main ones on any of these other educational assistance programs, but we're demonized as those people. It's kind of weird.
And so,
You got something, Jim? Because I see you waiting patient.
Well, what we also have to make sure is that whatever change we come is habitual and is something that we practice day-to-day basis. A motivation will get us started, but good habits will get us to the finish line. So what we have to make sure we do is that we do not stop at the vote. We do not stop at the point where who we want is in power. What we know where we have succeeded is when the policy has been signed, it's enacted, and it is protected. And that's what we have to start doing, because what you cannot do, what we should not do, is think that just because the dream came true, that means we go back to sleep, because that's when the nightmare will begin all over again.
Exactly. That's why the theme is what's next. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't want people to go back to sleep.
Yeah, this is only the beginning.
Exactly.
And you got many people that's out there voting, protesting, doing all of these different things. Like Big Chuck know, me and my wife, we get out there. We get out there. Okay?
Out there.
And so, we're teachers as well. And so we're seeing all these different things in our classrooms that we also had to combat as well. Because for me, everything that's starting with the black community starts in our schools. If you stop our children from succeeding in the classroom, you're already crippling their future from the very start.
Exactly.
Already.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
The one thing about us is many of us know that with Biden being elected, this doesn't change anything for us. Nor do we expect anything to come from Biden and them, because I feel like this next 4 years is going to be more so about love and unity and being true Americans. I think that's what they're really going to be going for. I don't see them doing any radical changes in policy or anything like that. But it's just beginning.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's just beginning. And so
we gotta show up to the way that we showed up this year to the election. We gotta show up next year and the year after that, and the year after that, the local elections, to get some of them senators out of there, get all that old money out of politics, and things can change.
And that's why I'm focused on black folk right now, because now that Biden is elected, you're going to see a lot of white allies, as they say, they're going to start disappearing.
Exactly.
Because for them, this was the big thing, was to put a middle finger to the big bad white person, of Trump, get him out of the office. They went so hard, they got Biden in there. Now it's no longer a fire that's going to be driven. You know what I mean? And so right now, this is the time for black leaders to definitely sit down, come together, and now we start pushing forth with agenda.
Yeah, because Biden's the president doesn't mean racism is over. I just want to make sure that y'all understand that.
Trump is not going to disappear just because Trump is no longer in office.
We already know that.
Yes, because the problem is that they are still going out, because Donald Trump is still dangerous right now. And even if he's out of office, he can be dangerous too. So we cannot ignore that. Because all we're doing is dealing with an effect. We're not dealing with the cause of the problems. And part of the cause of that problem is that we're not engaging on all political fronts. We cannot ignore Republicans and only engage with Democrats. We have to make Democrats know, listen, we are no longer your side chicks. I'm no longer hey, my wife and I got in a fight, can I stay the night at your house party people anymore? It's like, no, you are going to show me my RASPECT, and this is what I'm going to do. Because if you don't, I'm not only going to go to the other side, I'm going to publicly state it. And don't beat me that whole, but they're more dangerous than Donald Trump is. Because Joe Biden, unfortunately, he may be a more dangerous racist than Donald Trump, because even Dr. King warned that the white moderate is a greater threat to our civil rights than the Ku Klux Klan, because Joe Biden will ignore us. Unfortunately, people, Chelsea Handler and Deborah Messing, they are more dangerous racists than Donald Trump, because they are trying to control black men by telling us who the hell we should vote for. Who are you to tell us what to do? We think for ourselves, we vote for ourselves, and we will enact our own principles for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you're right. What you know what I'm saying? What you going about it? But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? You got to start somewhere, man.
Yes.
Like you got to understand, it's generations of this shit. Like you know, I know you younger than me. Like, okay, you got a fire under you. When I was your age, I had a fire too. I was saying the same shit. And we still saying the same shit. When my dad was my age, They still saying the same shit. When his dad was their age, they still saying the same shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So at some time, and I think this is the perfect time, we need to stop harping on past anger. Like, fuck that shit. Okay, it didn't work for this way and it didn't work this way. How we gonna come, like you said? Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta look at it from an angle where, okay, my personal feelings ain't helping us. So let me sit down and hear everybody what they say. If I don't like it, I don't gotta do it. That's the good thing about being American. You know what I'm saying? And all that. You know what I'm saying? If you choose not to do it, you choose not to do it. Like I tell people all the time. Like Fred, I'm gonna show Fred. Fred and his wife on the front line. They there. You understand what I'm saying? When it's protesting and all that, they there. Some people don't do that. Some people got money, but they do the same thing. They provide money for Fred and them to be there.
Right.
Like,
there's other ways.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's other ways to do it, but if you're not true to you, and I'm just talking about in the struggle of what's next. Everybody can't be a soldier. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's because if you say you a soldier and I put that gun in your hand and they start shooting at you and you drop that gun and run, you fucked up my whole motherfucking front line.
Don't be a Nick Cannon.
But you understand what I'm saying? My whole front line gone now. My whole front line is gone because you said you was a soldier. I trained you, put that gun in your hand, they started shooting at you, and you like, I'm gonna get you, sucker. They shooting.
You can't be in that foxhole with me.
You understand what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, and it's different aspects. You might be the brains,
right?
But you come up with a dumbass plan, make us go through the motherfucking mountain. It's January, motherfucker. We gonna freeze when we get to the top of that goddamn mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got to play their part, and then you got to do your part, is what I'm saying. Yep. And I'm going to get off the political thing because we can come back to that anytime. And I got a question for us because it's for, you know what I'm saying, strong black men here. I think we strong black men. You know what I'm saying? This is the question. And this is for the women. This might, you know what I'm saying, like right now, and the reason I'm asking this question is I want the women and the men. I can't see y'all questions right now because technical difficulties, but I'm going live. I want y'all to see the show live. But women are in the out front now, more than ever. You know what I'm saying? You got Kamala Harris. You got, what's the lady down there in Georgia?
Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, Stacey Abrams. You know what I'm saying? You got
Tamika
Tamika. Yeah, you got all these women out there holding it down. You know what I'm saying? So this is my question to the men. You know what I'm saying? As men, are we built now? Are we built to lead us into the future? So are we built to lead us into the future? Or should we just lay back and let the women lead?
That is a dangerous thing if we just lay back and let the women lead. First of all...
So your answer is no?
No, it's not just a no, it's a hell no.
All right, and
First
tell me
of
why.
all, our sisters, they need us right there marching alongside with them because their fight is our fight. Okay. That's number one. Number two is also the fact that there are men who are leading, but they are not being seen, unfortunately, or projected by the media because they want to make it a divide between black men and black women, and it's only getting worse because, unfortunately, for the most part, most black men today have become weak because we are not on the forefront. We're making it seem like it's their fight. No, their problem is our problem. It's not just enough for the men to be there. We need to be there and effective and strong. So that's number three. And number four is that we have to stop letting them think that this is just their fight. It's like, no, this is our fight too because we are down there with them. But we also got to make sure that we let the ladies know we are not fighting so that black women can be dominant over black men. We're fighting so that black women and black men can have equality in racism and overcome it together because you cannot solve one problem by creating another.
Okay. You got something on that, Tone? All right. You got something on that, Fred?
Yeah, I got something on that. So I disagree with that. Not with your statement, actually with his. Number one, black women have always been on front lines. Black women have always been organized. You take black women out the equation, and we're probably still in chains today. And so for me, it's like, I don't think it's really about black women and black men leading. It's just about black leaders just leading, period.
Exactly.
But what I see for protests and what I see with black women is that they're putting their own personal feelings, their own personal resentment, everything that they're sacrificing their self basically to get out here protesting for a lot of black men and black boys because you don't hear about the black women and the black girls that are being hurt. And so, like, for instance, Breonna Taylor's case did not pick up as much steam as George Floyd. And so you had a lot of black women, they're saying her name and everything, and then you got to say their name or say his name and retort to that. So no, black women have always been at the forefront. We need black women. Like it's not about stepping back or taking a back corner or anything like that. But black women have always been leading. They have always been with us in these acts, even during the Civil Rights Act. Like if you take black women out this equation, we're still in the same situation
Still
back in the day.
in the back of the bus.
So I think maybe I'm struggling with the question because you can't really say, should we step up? Should we be leading? What we need to step up in is protecting black women and celebrating black women and appreciating black women. That's what we need to be talking about, not about getting in here and making sure that we're leading these protests and everything. Look out for black women.
But that's basically where I wanted to go with the question. Like the question is, I'm not saying, like I'm saying as men, are we built to lead? Like right now, the women are out front.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Let me break it down to you. And like what I'm saying is, when I'm saying we should just sit back, I'm not talking about like, man, fuck that shit. That shit is on them. I'm talking about do for them what they did for us. When men was out front, they supported us. They made sure they was in the office, made sure that we had pamphlets and all that getting passed out when the black, you know what I'm saying, when the Black Panthers was doing what they was doing. Fred Hampton was up there doing all it, you know what I'm saying, everything he was doing. They took care of everything that had to do with clinical. They made sure people knew about the rallies. Yeah, they knew the rallies. They was in there cooking the pancakes and all that, is what I'm saying. So like being that they're out front right now, as men, are we strong enough to be like, all right, well, look, let me go ahead and let them have their time and I support.
So I think with that too, out front and leading is different things. Like you can say a man is out front, but that doesn't mean that they're leading.
Exactly.
Because even you had Angela Davis and you had all these people out there was out there too. So it's not about who's out front or whatever. And you know, they're showing this right now because we're trying right now in this year to finally start drawing attention to the plight of black women. And so that's why you're seeing them on the forefront. That's why you're seeing a lot more of Tamika Mallory and all them, but they have always been speaking up, not just for black women, but they've been literally speaking up for black men. And so, like I said, for me, it doesn't matter about who's out front. It's about us doing what we need to be doing for our black community. And for me, my responsibility as a black man is that I'm going to protect black women. And I don't think that nothing shakes or bakes in our community without that.
True. Sorry about that. Cut you off, Tom. But go ahead.
I think society makes it easier to have the black woman in front at this moment. The black man is still the biggest threat in America, so it's hard for us to be the leaders and the forefront or the ones up front. And society just makes it easier to support women, black women, and women in general. I'm just going to say that. Women in general. Right now, in this time in society, it just makes it easier to support that movement. So if black women are taking the front, I think, let's go. Support those that you support. Don't support all just because, again, whatever, but support those that have the right ideas and things in front of them. But I think society has a big part to do with that. I think that has to be a big part of it.
You got more to add?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I see. I see.
So
you
just
to
clarify earlier, I'm not saying that black men should lead and black women should be silent. I'm saying black men must step up and do our part for our needs, because there are some black women who are fighting for things that are actually making things worse for black men. And unfortunately, we got to remember, skin folk ain't always kin folk, because there are some people who are fighting to make the problem much worse, and we have to step up for those forces. Unfortunately, another thing Dr. King warned about is how the power structure will use black faces to hide the racist agenda of the system. As long as the face of white supremacy is black people will not move, and sometimes they will use a black woman for that. So we do need that balancing force, because unfortunately, some of these people who they are calling our leaders, they were pre-selected and they are not fighting for our needs. They are fighting for our destruction. So we have to fight against that, because just because white supremacy chooses a black face does not mean that it's for black people, and it can actually make things worse.
All right, and you just led right into my last question. My last question for everybody is, do we look at our celebrities different from siding with Trump? And what I'm saying about that is, like, Trump was using some of our young brothers, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, I mean, it was rumored that he was sending emails and telling them to come out, and he was going to put them in hotels and, you know, take pictures, photographs.
That sounds
crazy. He had a word and all that going in.
Sounds crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like I said, you know how we do our celebrities. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, but we love them motherfuckers to death. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody that you feel that especially if he's from same spot you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying me as, you know what I'm saying, coming up. You know what I'm saying? We love our celebrities. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why we're infatuated by celebrities like that. I can't tell you why. But you love who you love. And then you find out, like I'll just use Lil Wayne, you find out that he took a picture with Trump with the little corny cardigan on and all that. You know what I'm saying? But we know him as a hot boy. You know what I'm saying? So if you was running for the president of the United States, why would you attach yourself with a hot boy? You might well just go ahead and pull Big Meech out of jail and take a picture with him. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna run like that,
I'd respect that a lot more.
I'm just what I want y'all to elaborate on and think about it. And I'm not saying it might not be rap. You might not like rap music. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. It might be country.
Right.
You might like rock. I don't care. But you know what I'm saying? Like, do we? Because I know I'm gonna answer the question myself. I do. I look at it's like certain things that happen. Like I could love people to death. Like when I was playing the streets, you know what I'm saying? I always go back to that. When I was playing the streets, I played the streets raw. You could be my man from the sandbox. If I heard you told, you're not my man no more.
Oh yeah, that's easy. I'm going through that.
That's just me when I was out there, because I can't be affiliated with that because I signed the contract. You understand what I'm saying? The
like
contract of the
know.
street, exactly.
Right.
So now that I'm affiliated with you, somebody might be putting bread on my head.
Exactly.
Like I can't risk my life and my family. You know what I'm saying? For that, and like I'm saying, when it come to that, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you sign with Trump, and then not saying that I know Trump personally. I don't know Trump personally.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? He always been a celebrity and on TV, and he was always a billionaire from when I was coming up. You know what I'm saying? I know when I was young and we had money and we went to New York, people wanted to stay in the Trump Plaza. We did want to do that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That meant something. Oh yeah, I'm at the Trump Plaza. You know what I'm saying? But when he came out and started talking, it's just how he divided the country that made me like, damn, dude. And then you start looking into him as far as a KKK member and all that. So now you're like, damn, so that's him. You feel me? Now he's beyond just a celebrity, because I can cut the TV show off. Now he's the president.
Right.
But then you standing right next to him. You supposed to be cut like I am, and you standing next to him. It made me feel some type of way. I mean, I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. You say what the fuck you want to say. Fuck Kanye and all them, because they did what they did. Like,
yeah, that's how I feel.
And I was playing amazing, man.
I
Amazing.
used to go lie.
Man, listen.
Dog, listen, I couldn't listen to 808 and Heartbreaks today at all, dog. And I wanted
it hurt
to.
my feelings, because when a song come on, I cut it off. But if it ain't nothing else on, I'll turn it back on. But at first I cut this shit off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just saying. I cut this shit off because, and that's personal. It cut me deep, so I jump in my bag, and I'm a human. I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to be petty. Right. You feel me? And I'll tell you, that's a petty ass reason to do that, because Kanye ain't never did nothing to me. But at the same time, I bought your album. You ain't never bought nothing from me. I bought your album.
If you're detrimental to my community, you did something to me. And I feel like those pictures, those statements, all that, detrimental. I can't rock with you regardless.
So you feel, the question is, do we look at celebrities different when they do stuff like that?
I'm gonna say, yeah. I'm gonna look at anybody differently who does something like that. I'm gonna keep it a bean, like celebrity or not. Celebrities can be bought and sold, so it is what it is on that. But as far as siding with the ops, that's what it is. You siding with the ops. You an op now. There's nothing to talk about. Nothing. Don't listen to Kanye. Don't listen to Wayne. And I'm not advocating for anybody else to do that. That's what I choose to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nah, they did to me.
Well, I actually talk about this in chapter 5 of my book, which is there's a difference between fighting racism, fighting how racism benefits you, and fighting racism you do not like. The problem with our people, unfortunately, today is that slavery in some aspects can be a choice. And I'll give you an example. Ice Cube.
Oh.
Ice Cube went and talked to both the Biden and the Trump campaign.
He's allowed to.
Yeah. But Roland
for
Martin had a bunch of people saying a bunch of things that Ice Cube already clarified was not true. He never met with Trump, never endorsed them, and they're saying, you got sold, you got bought out. The man just went and had a conversation. He just had a conversation. And he constantly kept saying he did not endorse them. Right. But no, because you were there, that means that you were automatically associated. So as I said before, the problem of our people is that we got to stop being blindly loyal, because that is a form of mental slavery. And the definition of a slave is a person who by force or by choice is dependent on another person, substance, or ideology in order to function. So what we need to do is cut that off. We will never progress if we keep having that blind loyalty.
I'm trying to figure who added that word choice to slavery.
It's actually one of those things that, once again, we are not taught that part of the history
Oh,
when
yeah,
you have to
it's
do your
choice.
research.
Yeah, yeah.
Because slavery can be a choice in some aspects.
Yeah.
So,
Because there's some freaks out there. There's some freaks. There's some freaks that be doing that slave
Yes.
shit. Go ahead.
Yes, but as I was saying before, all Ice Cube did was just engage. He did not endorse, and that was enough for people to say things about him that were blatantly not true. So until we get out of that mentality, we will never progress. Because I said it before, if Dr. King was alive, studying the history of Dr. King as I study, from a pragmatic point of view, I do believe Dr. King would have voted for Donald Trump because of Donald Trump's policies. Because even Dr. King is like, yes, because
He was
even
talking some shit
Dr.
with that
King
one.
was like, we cannot ignore them. We have to engage them. Ignoring them is actually part of the problem. So to answer your question, do I look at celebrities different who endorse or work with Donald Trump? It depends on how they act. If their thing is
So it ain't yes or no. You said it depends.
yes, it depends on how they act. If they're going in there cooning for Donald Trump, hell yeah, I look at you different. But if you're going there from a pragmatic policy point of view of simply saying, I'm just trying to get things done, and I do believe from a pragmatic point of view that Donald Trump will benefit us, then fine, so be it.
Okay.
I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to be friends with the dude, but I'm just trying to help the people.
Okay. Go ahead. I see you sitting there waiting patiently, man. Go
Waiting
ahead.
patiently. Man, a lot was said. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a lot.
First off, Martin Luther King would not have voted for Donald Trump,
Boy,
like, ever. And to say something like that is, for me, is such a slap in the face as somebody who sacrificed so much. But even his daughter speaks on him so much. His granddaughter spoke at the March on Washington that we was at. Mm-hmm. He would not vote for anybody that's about voter suppression, that's about racism, that's about hate. It would not be about policy. It'd be about moral, right or wrong.
Right.
So I absolutely disagree with that. Like that's Kanye level, in my opinion, to say something like that. Slavery was not a choice. People were not jumping off of boats into water to sacrifice their lives
The
to not be
slavery of
slaves.
today is a choice, not back then.
Yeah, but that's a mental state. We're talking about actual slavery.
There's
Right.
a difference between
But
slavery and
I know
bondage,
that.
though.
I know that. But when we're talking about, okay, because the statement was very divisive, is we're talking about slavery, the worst thing that could have happened to black people in this country. All right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about slavery. We're talking about the act of slavery of what happened. We're not looking into this whole second level of, well, slavery is a mindset, because I promise you, it's a little bit more than that. You can be growing up in the hood and have a mindset, I want to get out of here, and still be laying dead in the street. Because it's not just a mindset.
It's not a choice.
It's not just a choice.
Right.
You don't just get to say, I'm going to leave the hood one day, or I'm going to get out of here. It's
Right.
not a choice.
It's
It
not.
can be a choice.
It's not
though.
a
And
choice.
some
not
That is
people-
not
always
a
an
choice.
option.
It's not
It is
always an
not
option.
always an
One at a
It's not
time.
always
One
an
at a
option.
time. One at a
It's
time.
not always
It's not
an
always an option.
Hold
But-
on. One at a time.
Right,
One at a
because I
time.
let y'all speak. I let y'all speak
one at a time.
without
Sorry.
being cut off.
I'm sorry.
Now, to get into the statement of, do I look at celebrities different when they side with Trump? I look at everybody different who sides with Trump. Like, when I'm looking at these celebrities, it's like that social influence kind of aspect. I don't let celebrities really influence me
Right.
that much in that aspect, you know what I mean?
exactly.
But if it's like somebody that I really love, like, let's just say, like, I'm out here and then Kendrick talking about something.
That would.
I'm up for Trump. Like, I would
That would break my
drop
heart.
dead where I'm
That would
sitting.
break my
You know
heart.
what I'm saying? Like,
That would break my heart. I ain't even
But-
gonna lie.
Exactly.
I don't let celebrities like really influence me. I think I look at more so people who I know, people who are my associates, people who I work with, you know what I'm saying? People who I see daily that vote for Trump or that sided with Trump, because this was the first election that was not about policy. It was
definitely
not about who had the best policy.
Right.
It was about getting rid of hate and racism, because right now, just this weekend, we had all these Proud Boys out there in D.C., and that's what he's inciting. Where I live at, I'm seeing Trump flags all across me, and them Trump flags are always next to a Confederate flag, always next to a back to blue flag, and then next to an American flag. And these people are violent. We seeing young people disappearing out here. We know somebody that disappeared in Garrett County, young man, all right, that disappeared that they tried to cover up. So, just the post I did the other day, 15-year-old Kwame Charles, man, like that was very similar to Emmett Till.
Exactly.
And, and it sucks, but when I look at Trump, man, this is what I think about. I think about that hate and everything. Biden and Kamala, whatever, man. They're not Trump. They're not inciting hate.
They
They're
give a
not
chance for
inciting.
redemption.
They're not doing violence, anything like that. But I'm gonna let you know, man. That please, I pray Bernice never sees this episode. All right, I pray she never sees this episode on what was said of her father, because he would never,
That was
ever ever support Donald Trump.
Well, Bernice and Dr. King are two separate peoples, and you're entitled to your opinion. But my opinion is based off looking at the facts of Dr. King. Number one, Dr. King was a Republican. Number two, like I said before, Dr. King warned that Joe Biden, a white moderate, would be more dangerous and would actually slow down the civil rights movement than a Donald Trump. There are several factors that are going in. I'm not saying something that I desire. I'm saying something that's based off of opinion, off of the facts. And another thing, too, also, you said slavery is not always a choice. I agree with that. Slavery can be a choice. There are situations where people choose ignorance, people choose to be dependent, and people do choose to have somebody to feed that dependency. For the problem for most black people, most of us don't want to fight against racism. We just want to be comfortable under it, and that is problematic. So most people don't want to thrive. They just want to be comfort. So until we break that comfort, because comfort is the stage right now. We're past the point of fear. What we're at is the point of comfort, because they're going to offers comfort, because you give an oppressed man comfort, he's going to falsely believe he's free, and then you can continue the oppression, and we will never thrive and overcome. So we have not done that since the time of Dr. King in over 52 years. So we got to get past that stage of being comfortable and have these uncomfortable conversations. Because yes, the slavery of today that black people, some of us are choosing, is a choice that some of us are unfortunately making because we do know better. It's just like with me. I didn't want to believe any of this stuff when I studied it, but now that it's there and it's something I'm looking at, it would be a choice for me to choose to ignore it, because ignorance is choosing to ignore something that includes the facts, no matter how painful. I believe truth is the best way to save people, no matter how uncomfortable or unpopular it is. So until we start speaking truth, no matter how unpopular and uncomfortable it is, we are never going to progress. That's the first step we got to take.
The most important thing you just said to me, in my opinion, was education. And in our black community, education is lacking. So ignorance will be more dominant until we get proper education. And we don't have that. And that's not controlled by us. That's not. I want to make sure you understand that. It's not something that we have power over. Because again, I know great black teachers who wish they had the resources, who wish they had the resources to inform and teach their students better, but they don't. And that's not, again, controlled by them. So education is the most important thing that you said right there, to me.
Yeah, but we gotta also make sure we understand that some of the dumbest people are so quote unquote education because they're not thinking for themselves. They're just repeating what other people who are paying them or what they are told to believe is true, because our situation has changed, unfortunately. So unfortunately, I disagree with you, because we do control our destiny. The people who will ultimately decide the destiny
not education
of black,
though. We don't control education.
But the thing is that the people who will decide ultimately the destiny of black people is going to be mostly black people. Only black people can make black people great again. That includes us standing up saying there's something wrong and saying that, okay, we got to stop everything and have a self-examination of what's going on.
Let me ask you this question. You said only black people can make black people great again.
Yes.
And how do we do that?
Well, the first thing we have to do is have a self-examination of what our actual problem is. That's number one.
We already know that.
Yes.
We know what our problem is.
So we have to have self-awareness. Self-awareness is the first step. The second step is that we have to come together and publicly admit it on our local levels of what our individual problem is.
How do we do that, though? How do we do that?
I'm about to explain that. Because each community is different. So we have to say, what is our local problems? Because not every problem is that somebody with a white hood is going around lynching us. Some problems is
but
that
how do we come together, though? You said we got to come together. Let's just say in Hagerstown, how can I get all the black people that's influential together, like the teachers and the principals and the people, the finance people? How do I do that if I have if I don't, you know what I'm saying, I don't have control to get bankers in there to show us how to get SBA loans?
All right. If I may, start with your friends and family, and then tell them to start with their friends and family, because you will know somebody. You don't always have to go to the president of the bank. You may know somebody who works at the bank, and they know somebody who works at the bank that agrees with you on these issues, and you come together on that commonality, and you unite your front and combine your resources.
And that's going to change my circle. That's not going to change us.
No, it will change us because it starts small. Remember, all progress begins in a group, but it has a snowball effect over time. Like I said before, we had to habituate this. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. This is something that's going to happen over time.
It's what you're saying. You're actually regressing. You're going back. That already, what you said already started.
No,
people already uniting. It's already already got
the,
groups that's supposed to be doing what you say they're supposed to do.
But that's for political. But that was for politics. We're talking about social.
What's going to change?
Politics and social are two separate.
But what's going to change though? You still going to put somebody in charge of doing something. At the end of the day, in America, it's about the almighty dollar.
And
once they start, hold on. Let me talk.
Okay.
Once they start getting money, it's gonna change. I'm telling you what I'm telling you. I come from the slums. I come from nothing. I come from motherfucking cutting up food, wish sandwiches. Like I got 2 pieces of bread and I wish there's something on there.
Right.
So I had to think that it was something on that bread.
Sugar water.
Sandwiches, sugar water.
Yeah.
I come from that. Now I'm doing better. And the worst thing that could happen to me is to me go back to sugar water. So, like I said, at the end of the day, when you in America, if they give you that choice, let's say it's all black people. And I know people ain't gonna wanna hear this shit, but it's all black people. Let's say it was 400 million.
Turn it.
Yeah, if it was 400 million black people in America, right? And the powers that be came to you and said, listen, we'll make all black people great, but I need you to do my agenda. I'll give you $1 million. This half. The other half, you just got to control the other half. I'll give 20 million people $1 million apiece, but you got to control the other 20 million. I bet you 20 million out of 40 million gonna agree on that million. And if you think I'm lying, you flying. They gonna take that million and they gonna use what that money did, and they gonna influence people. So you know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying. It's not as easy as what you think. I mean, we can go on this forever. You know what I'm saying? It's that can go different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Response.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Fred come in. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm
But
gonna
can I just say one quick thing about that real quick, please?
Go ahead.
What we must make sure we do is never, under any circumstances, because we did this and this is part of the problem, we must never, ever again sacrifice our independence for inclusion.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't think we're gonna stop that.
I did want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Have you ever taught before?
Excuse me?
Have you ever taught before?
Yes.
Teacher.
Like teacher?
Oh, you mean
Like a teacher, like in a classroom, like in a school?
No, I have not. Not in a classroom.
Okay,
but
so that's all I want. That's all I
All
want. And, okay, so the thing that I can't stand, like it really rubs me the wrong way, is when somebody who has never taught in a classroom that wants to speak on education to speak on what they think the problem is when you haven't been there.
So you
No, please,
Okay.
please let me continue.
gotta let him talk,
Please
sir.
let me continue.
Okay.
So as a teacher, especially as a black man, that's a teacher, okay? The only one in my entire building, all right? A lot of us can already see the resources that we're lacking in our schools. We see that, okay? And so, you know, we're given a curriculum and all this stuff that we're supposed to follow. And as a black teacher, we make it inclusive, okay? That's not something that they tell us to do.
Right.
That's something that we do. My wife also is teaching right across the hall from me.
Right.
We make our curriculum inclusive to all kids. So a lot of what we are able to provide is trying to make up for, number one, the lack of resources, especially during the times of a pandemic where we're trying to teach kids that's in front of us, teach kids online, and then teach kids that's at, for instance, the Robert Johnson Center, who's trying to focus as well.
Right.
And so I'm going from the school, I'm going to Robert Johnson, and you have teachers that are going above and beyond trying to make a difference because we know how important education is.
Right.
So you can't speak against education as it's a choice in the sense that you all can make this change. You all can create this stride. Now, as far as bringing change in our community, anybody absolutely can do this.
Exactly.
And it's not just speaking with family and friends and sitting down at a kitchen table. That was basic. You got to know everybody in your community. You got to know who your city council members are, know who your chief of police is, know who your mayor is, know the principals at a certain school, especially a school that you're attending, know who the board of education is. When you start knowing these people and you have these emails, you are able to reach out and you can be a simple, common folk. It don't matter what you
And
do,
affect some
don't
things.
matter what you do. You can still have a voice to be able to reach out to these leaders. It's a little bit more, people been doing that all along. We all been sitting at the table talking with our family and friends and breaking bread on what we think we can do. But what I've always been telling people is reach out to local leaders. If there's something that you're looking to change, start reaching out. Start getting to know people who is already working in that field because we have people in every single aspect. We have pillars in this community and they are doing something. They're not asleep, man. They out here working. And so when you start reaching out to these people, when we start pulling these people together, Oh man, the change.
It's gonna be beautiful.
We've already seen a change right now in Hagerstown's leadership.
Already changing.
It's already changing. Hagerstown, and like you said, you can't judge.
Keisha Martinez.
Right, you can't judge every community exactly the way you judge another one. But when you start getting to know all these local leaders, you start knowing who your city council, you start knowing the people of influence that can bring policy and change and resources to your schools.
Right.
That's when you start having power.
Right.
It's not no complicated thing, man. You just start looking up who those local leaders are. And for our schools, we need some leaders that's going to start putting resources into our schools. Stop defunding from them, but then close their ears when you hear defunding from the police.
Right. That's weird to me.
They can we got officers in our schools that's getting paid a crazy amount of salary.
More than probably you.
And so if you take that income from student resource officers that's in these black schools that's there to protect the school from black students, and take that income and put it to something else, we can start bringing up these resources. Because right now the worst thing I've ever seen is this pandemic and these kids that are struggling online because they don't have the adequate resources. And so again, that's you going above and beyond trying to make up for that.
Right.
Tutoring, it's not even called tutoring, man. You're teaching 24/7.
Yep.
Like that's what it is.
All right, well, look, I know you want to chime in. I gotta wrap it up. We can do this. You know what I'm saying? We can do it. Come back and revisit this show because I think it definitely was a good show. And like I said, everybody gave their opinion. Like I said at the beginning before the show started. Listen, man, ain't nobody right, nobody wrong. It ain't no bad guys or good guys on this show. You know what I'm saying?
Just opinions.
But it's needed to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at this show, we all the same color. So if it's just 4 of us and we having this conversation, how great would it be if it's 4,000 of us having this conversation?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You either gonna take something from it, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? You wrap it up and then we network. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, brother, you do this and you do that. Bang, bang, bang. Now we running. Now maybe you know what I'm saying? You red and blue, but still at the same time, all right, here, cool dude. So now you know what I'm saying? Because and the reason I wanted to do a show like this is you know what I'm saying, because my friend just walked in here, but you know, like, because of the gang culture, like, I want people to understand that we can, because people really think black people can't talk without fighting. Like, they thought the motherfucking we was gonna start running, and the mic's gonna be like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's how people chiming in is really thinking like, oh, these motherfuckers going. But what do you see on TV?
Yeah,
on TV, the females will start talking, then they get to disrespecting, and then they go on a commercial. You know what I'm saying? So
they get paid $15,000 per that episode.
You
know what I mean?
Like, but I'm just saying,
bought and sold
regardless,
celebrities. I feel you.
All I'm saying is I try to make it where people can see that we can be us and be us. It don't always have to come to a fight. Okay, I can understand where you coming from, brother. It's intellect. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree. You don't agree. You understand what I'm saying? And we're going to have more of these shows. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting there talking. We're going to have more of these shows. So if y'all want, I could bring y'all 3 back on the same show if you want. If you didn't get it all out. You cool?
That's fine.
Yeah, because I see you know what I'm saying? I see you got more to say.
It's the caffeine.
Yeah, but
That's
my time running out. If I'd had 2 hours, we'd have kept going. My time running out. You know what I'm saying? So what I need you to do is, like I said, we had technical difficulties. So if you can go to YouTube, my channel was SMU Entertainment. So you go on SMU Entertainment. I should have the show how it looks up there on there. I'll send it to y'all. Yeah. And then if y'all want to post it to y'all friends so they can see it, please do that, man. And like I said, I'm gonna end it on that, man. It was a good show. Y'all want to tell them y'all handle how they get in touch with you, Jimmy, and buy your book.
All right, so everybody, you can buy my book, Unchained, The History of Mental Slavery in America and How to Overcome It, exclusively on Amazon or Amazon eBooks. And you can follow me on Instagram at JAMJIMIY, or you can follow me on Facebook for Unchained Brains. And always remember, an unpopular opinion is sometimes right and must be fought for. God bless y'all.
Amen. Tony, how they get in touch with you?
Tony Williams on Facebook. Also, Box Bakes for all your baking needs. Holla at your boy. Get at me.
Fred, how they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so my books, Look the Devil in the Eye is my new one that's coming out. You can find it on Amazon. So again, you type in Look the Devil in the Eye, Fred Chapes, it comes up. I got an author profile. You'll see Look the Devil in the Eye. You'll see Color of My Breed, and you'll see a couple of my other books. So check it out on Amazon. It's ranked number 2 right now. New release in horror fiction, African American horror fiction.
Exactly. Make sure y'all supporting these brothers, man. And like I said, I'm gonna have them back on the show. I couldn't see y'all posts and everything, but when I get home, I'm gonna do a watch party because I gotta watch my Steelers. I recorded the game, so don't tell me if we won or not. But I'm gonna go get home, watch the game. I know he'll Baltimore Ravens fan. We ran up in him a couple weeks ago, so
We ain't gonna talk about that.
I'm from Boston, so
No cap, no
Boston,
NFL.
Oh, we handling them tonight.
man,
We
so-
handling them tonight.
Yeah, so
No cap, no NFL.
yeah, it's all gravy, man. And thank y'all for tuning in for another show. If you want to get me, Linktree, SMU Entertainment, that's everything you need to go. And please go on SMU Entertainment on YouTube and watch the show. I'll see y'all next Sunday. We are out.
Appreciate
Stay
y'all,
jamming.
brothers.